Hello there, this is 40 Splish Splash. Very much welcome to me, and hopefully you're going to enjoy this journey through the universe of the new Borderlands game, which is of course Borderlands 3. Now this is an action role-playing first-person shooter that I guess a lot of you guys have been looking forward to, me included. It's developed by Gearbox Software, and as you can see already here in the menu, you have a sense of humor. I like that. It's published by 2K Games, and this is of course the sequel to 2012's Borderlands 2, and also the fourth main entry in the Borderlands series. Now, the game was released on the 13th of September this year for both, of course, PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I have by now, when you're watching this video, played quite a few hours into the game, and I have mainly been focusing on the campaign and doing that also solo. We're getting into that soon. My first kind of impressions is that the game is performing well. This is something I'm a bit not scared about, but I always have high hopes for new games that they're gonna perform well, that we have a good optimization and we don't lose frames and stuff like that when you're playing on PC. And so far the game has been running really well. Let me know in the comment section if you had similar experiences. That means that you get a really smooth experience when playing, and if you're already familiar with the graphics of Borderlands or the Borderlands series, you're gonna love this as well when it comes to these kind of animated cartoonish graphics that I also really like. It's also very colorful. The weapon arsenal is a huge thing in Borderlands 3 as the former games, and you will not get disappointed. There's a lot of fun stuff you can choose from and also to customize and fix to your liking. That's something I really appreciate in a game like this, and I've had really fun trying out different weapons so far. When you get into the game for the first time, you can choose a class, and we have 4 different classes. The operative, the siren that I'm playing as in this video, become my favorite a bit, the beastmaster, and also the gunner. It depends on what kind of playstyle you have and what kind of class you like to rock at that certain point. You can change that later on as well and switch in between. You have different game modes such as Circle of Slaughter, where you kill waves of enemies coming to you. Also a quick dungeon with a boss fight at the end that is called Proving Grounds. This is something I'm looking forward to try as well, and therefore I'm mainly focusing when it comes to the campaign and the storyline in this review as well. Now, talking about playing alone or solo, as you may know, a game such as Borderlands is of course the best experienced in a way by playing together with friends, and I think that's something I will try to focus on when I'm continuing to grind this game. It doesn't mean that you can't play alone, because I've played several hours right now alone, and it has been really fun, and that has to do with the storyline that we're getting into. There's quite a lot of nice and fun characters that you get into when you are investigating and, you know, getting further on into the story here. And since I'm not spoiling, I'm not going to say too much, but again, as I say, there's quite a few that we will meet, and there's a few scenes now and then, cutscenes, that are also fun to watch because the dialogue is pretty neat and has a lot of humor in it, and I kind of enjoy that. So here's a little small example for you to get the picture of what I'm talking about when it comes to these kind of meetings and the glimpse in the eye.
While I examine this unimaginably complex and priceless alien artifact, you may wait outside and steal anything not nailed down.
Oh yeah, that was just one of the examples I was thinking about. But some of the characters you will maybe just meet once and they don't have so much impact in the story or what you're doing or playing. But others you might team up together with, and that can be really fun and interesting. The gameplay in Borderlands 3 will also take you through different settings when it comes to landscape and environments. It goes all from these wastelands and dry desert-like landscapes into these cyberpunk-lookish cities. If you played Borderlands before, you know that you will play both during day and night, which I kind of like. And also you will find a lot of different side missions on your way to the glory of completing the game. Some of them are really fun, and it can be just a small one when you're trying to capture someone that has a reward on their head, and a prize on their head, you might say, which I kind of like. So these kind of decisions, if you actually move away from the main storyline for some time, will definitely determine how long the game will take to finish. But here also vehicles is of course a huge thing, and there are different missions when it comes to this as well. And you will unlock quite a few, and as with the weapons, you can definitely tweak them. and change them, and it's a lot to look into when it comes to the customization. As I mentioned, I like the weapons in the game, and as an FPS gamer and I played a lot of games, I think there are some really cool features, and this is one. When you get down, you actually have a chance to fight your way back into the battle before dying and have to respawn and stuff like that. And this is something I think is really cool. It's called the second wind, I guess. Since the world of Borderlands is quite big, it's good to get to know the map quite early on, and also quite soon you will be able to fast travel between some points if you're not using one of the vehicles. The inventory works really smooth. I kind of like the system they've done here, and it's quite easy to see what the different things do and their stats and so forth. You also have what I call the skill tree, which you can change as you go if you want to have something else. But of course, you also have the ability to put the skill points in there to level up the different skills as you go. As you probably know by now, this is a game that is very loot driven, so make sure to check out the small chests here and there, get the money, get the stuff, and you can later on of course also sell and buy, which is a thing in the game. And they have like the same kind of core loop as with previous games around taking on the missions, defeating the enemies, and also, as I said, obtaining loot from the fallen foes or these kind of special chests. Most often in the form of procedurally generated weapons that varies in damage, range, ammo, and capacity. And as I said, there's quite a few of them. We have also these other like special perks giving the game over 1 billion guns. 1 billion guns, that's quite many. Wow. It's also good that you have these new like character skills and the player characters have like this new combat maneuvers and abilities. So you have the crouch sliding, which I think is influenced by the mechanic in Titanfall and Apex Legends, and also wall mounting, where you can climb up over short heights. Now players can also take cover between short barriers, which can of course be destroyed after continued weapon onslaught. So this gives a quite dynamic gameplay, and you can see here when you get into the more hectic fights, meeting like the small bosses. And again, I'm not showing the main fights or the big bosses in the game, which can spoil the experience for you if you're actually planning to buy the game and play it. And of course we'll get to that soon if I think it's worth buying and all that stuff. We talked earlier about the length of the game, and I know that Gearbox creative director Paul Sage has estimated that players will spend about 35 hours through the main quest line along with the side missions, or some side missions. So there you got a hint of how much time you will need and how much you have to be home from work or in school to actually achieve this. Sorry, that you shouldn't do that. No. For those of you that are really interested how to make progress ranking up, and also maybe do that after you have completed the game, all these maybe 35 hours, well, of course you can replay the campaign after you have finished it with their like leveled up character, and you can fight more difficult enemies for a chance of better loot. The badass rank system for Borderlands 2 will be replaced and with the Guardian rank system, so by finishing smaller challenges throughout the game allows players to gain buffs that persist across all their characters. Now Borderlands 3 will also include these new post-game challenges, Circles of Slaughter, that can be found on various planets that have players attempt to fight through difficult waves of enemies for high quality of loot. And while down players can be revived by teammates, if all player characters die, the match is over and any potential rewards are lost. We also again have to mention Proving Grounds, which is a type of raid that must be first discovered by finding hidden markings across the game's worlds. Once discovered, players attempt to defeat all enemies across 3 areas within 30 minutes to complete the challenge and earn their rewards. A further mayhem mode randomizes several of the game's campaign elements to further increase the challenge to the players. So I think this is really good. They have put a lot into the game so you can continue to play, grind, and also climb these ranks if that's something that is important for you. And I know that that's the case for a lot of people. Well, I'd like to do that as well, but mostly I am looking forward to a long journey into the world of Borderlands and being able to play that for maybe these 35 hours or more. So what's my judgment, my thoughts, and my sort of saying when it comes to Borderlands 3? Well, I am having a good time playing this game, and I am looking forward to play it even more and also team up and do that with friends. I would probably do that already in my live streams on Twitch. Now, let me hear from you as well what you think, especially if you are one of those Borderlands grinders that have been playing the franchise for a long time, because that's not my case. But I do like this game, and a lot of people have said that they think that it's better than Borderlands 2. If that's the case, that's up to you to decide. But I highly recommend it, and for me, I will give it an 8.3 out of 10. So towards the end, I'm going to show you a clip, an ability that I would like to have all year round.
Well, would you look at that? You've got the magic touch.
Get out of my head!